Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katie for those who for some reason forgotten, and this is Books R Us. So this year I kind of want to start a series where every month I do a video about that month's national month. So for example, November is National Novel Writing Month, April is Poetry Month, so each month has its own national thing. So this month, it's January, and it is National Mental Wellness Month. So I want to go over some of my favorite books that either talk about it or have you reflecting on what you're thinking, basically. And these are mainly books that I've read or am currently reading. If I'm sure there are plenty of other books out there that I have for some reason missed. A lot of books have been written, fiction, nonfiction, about different mental illnesses. So please be familiar with those so you can possibly see signs in yourself or in others. But the first one that I have is 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. This one talks about depression and suicide in a high school female teenager. So if you're going to read that, just trigger warnings for that. But it's about a girl who leaves cassette tapes for people to listen to after she dies. She's killed herself. This book has been out for a while. There's a Netflix series about it, so I'm not really giving away much by that. So definitely give it a read, see kind of how your interactions with someone can really affect your own idea and their idea of the world around them and the people around them. The next one I have is The Curious Incidents of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. So this book is about an autistic boy. I believe he's a young teen, preteen, teenager, around that age, that in the middle of the night gets up and sees, or early morning type thing, sees a dog dead in either his yard or the yard next to him, and kind of what goes on after that. His parents have split, and so he tries to go live with his mom, and because he's autistic, he has some trouble figuring out some situations that he has to go through in order to get to his mom. That is actually really a good book. I actually saw the production of it in London before I read the book. They were both amazing, and I really want to see the show again. I don't think it's on Broadway right now or being shown in the US. I could be wrong. The next book that is a nonfiction book, and I'm actually reading for our book club this month, the adult book club, is Quiet: The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking by Susan Cain. It's again nonfiction, but it talks about being introverted in a world that promotes being extrovert. So they promote talking to people. I'm about a quarter of the way through it right now, but they talk about the Harvard Business School and how they always promote, going after things and getting things done and always talking. And perception is if you are talking a lot, you're seen a certain way. You're seen smarter than those who don't talk as much. But I mean, again, I'm not too far into it. You can see the bookmarks right here. But it's really interesting to see how different studies have shown how being quieter, and working on your own rather than in groups can kind of help in some respects what is produced. The next two books I have, they're not really a series, but they're two journals by the same author. This one is called 52 Lists for Happiness, and the other one is just the 52 Lists by Maria Seal. Look at that pretty cover. I don't have the other one, but I have this one right here because I just finished it December. This was one of the last books I finished, and it's just basically a bunch of lists. So every week there's a question that you should answer, and it's 52 lists for 52 weeks in the year. So every week you do something different, and by the end of the year, you've kind of answered these 52 questions. I'm really repetitive here. I'm really sorry. You've answered these 52 questions about yourself, and you kind of find out different things about yourself, and then you can always go back and look at these lists and say, oh yeah, I remember that. Or it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. I should really work on that. Or I should really, do that thing. And having it written down is, I believe, better than just having it in your head, because then you actually kind of remember it because you go through the action of writing it. So that's kind of why I like it. The next one I have is another journal, kind of like the 52 lists. This is the Happiness Project One Sentence Journal, a 5-year record by Gretchen Rubin. She made, I'm guessing it's a she because it's Gretchen, but she wrote the book The Happiness Project, and this kind of goes off of it. This is basically, you can see here that, let me get to the right page. There you go. So we have, January 6th, January 7th, and then different lists here. So we have 2020, 2020, 20, and then you fill in the year. So like this year would be 2019, next year would be 2020, the next year would be 2021. So you continue on through that, and you basically just write a sentence or two about your day. That's all. And so it's more of being reflective, and it's all about memory, like a lot of, especially older people, but I know I kind of joke about it too. We kind of talk about, like, I don't remember what happened that day. Well, doing this and doing like a sentence a day could jog your memory later on and say, oh yeah, that actually happened. I'm like, oh yeah, this did or didn't happen. I remember that day. Yes, that happened. Like I wrote that sentence, but something else also happened that day, and X, Y, Z. So this could be really good for your mental health because then you can remember things. It's just then remembering to write in it every day. It's day 5, and I usually do these at night. So far I haven't forgotten to do it yet, but I've only had to do it for 4 days so far. So we'll see how this goes. But I think it's a really good, interesting way to keep your mental health up to date, as it were. The last one I have, another journal. I think journals like this are kind of important for being mentally healthy. That is Q&A a day for me, a 3-year journal. It's not saying who it's by, but this is what it looks like. It says 365 questions, 3 years, 1,095 answers. So like the previous one, this one's 5 years. This one's only 3 years. However, this one, it's specific questions. So like for June 30th, it says blank gives me goosebumps. So then, in 2019, I'll answer that. In 2020, I'll answer that. And then in 2021, I will also answer that. Another question, let me see, is if I don't get exercise or do sports, I feel blank. So that's another good one. It's more like the 52 lists in that regard, but at the same time, it is different. It's over 3 years, and that can help you see how you've changed over time. Again, these are journals, so some of you might wonder, like, are those really for your mental health? I suggest yes. I say yes, just because you are getting your thoughts down on paper. It's not as good as talking to someone. You do need to go talk to someone if you're at all concerned or if you're feeling really down and out. But this is a good start to kind of just get all of your thoughts into like one place. Definitely check out the books as well. 13 Reasons Why, Quiet, and then The Curious Incident. They all kind of talk about something different. Of course, there are a lot of other books and materials that are out there for mental illness. But being January, I think it's really crucial to start the year off on a good foot. I will leave my Goodreads below, so if you want, you can always go on my Goodreads and look up different books. I have shelves for psychology, mental illness, journals, um, emotions. So take a look at those books, read the ones you're interested in. I'll also try to link some helpful like phone numbers or resources for you guys so that if you or someone you know is going through a rough patch, feel free to use them. Um, I know. So at this point in the year, usually booktubers are going through, looking back at 2018 or looking forward to 2019 via books. I think this is just a good start for the new year is to focus on you. So feel free to look at these books or any other books, and I will see you guys later.